Easter is coming, perhaps not quite as early as some years this year, but at any rate, it always reminds me of the Easter eggs my mother used to paint for me. One egg each year. When I was little, there were just little bunnies, Easter bunnies, with colored ears and colored tails, who were coloring Easter eggs or delivering them. And then there were pussy willows and daffodils, in German called Osterglocken, in translation Easter bells. When I was older, she would sometimes tease me with a scene of the previous year. For instance, in 1945, I ran away from my parents and my father had to hunt me down for 2 days and 2 nights. And the following Easter, my mother showed me as the little adventurous runaway on my Easter egg. Of course, those Easter eggs were had always boiled, hard boiled, and we had to eat them. We were hungry, so they could not be saved. Years later, when we came to America, the land of abundance, we eventually came up with the idea of blowing out the eggs, still using the contents, but blown out eggshells, and those we could save now. My mother was full of ideas. There were decorated eggs that could be hung from branches. And then she came up with creating birds, Greek vases, crocodile, a turtle, bunnies, and we were able to save them for over 40 years. Of course, some break over time, but we still have many to grace our home each Easter. I want to read you 2 little sections from my book Hardships and Magic, Memories of Growing Up in Germany, 1939 to 1955. The first section comes from the Easter in 1945, just before the end of the war. We were in Thuringia, where we had fled to from the advancing Russian army, and we had been taken in by the Herbig family, who vaguely knew my mother. I had become good friends with their little granddaughter called Gitty, who was a couple of years younger than I, and my mother was old friends with Gitty's mother. Her mother was called Grete. So this comes from the chapter called A Brief Respite. As the weeks pass, the sun shines warmer on clear days and the snow begins to melt. Gitty and I can spend longer periods in our hideaway in the shed, sometimes even with our coats. Spring is starting to be in the air, but so are the rumors of the fighting coming closer. The Nazi authorities deny that the Allied forces are gaining German ground. At the same time, they order that every town and village be prepared to fight to the last stone. In the privacy of Grete's kitchen, she and my mother shake their heads and whisper in dismay. Fear and uncertainty permeate the air. Gitty and I try to escape more deeply into our fantasy world. Easter is coming on April 1st. Our mothers seem to be busy with secret activities. School lets out for a few days of spring vacation. And then it is Easter Sunday, and our mothers announce that the Osterhase, the Easter bunny, has visited and has hidden a basket for Giddy and one for me in the shed. Full of delight and anticipation, we search and search until we find them at last. They are filled with cookies shaped like Easter bunnies, with ears, eyes, and tails of white or brown glaze, some candies that look homemade, and one hard-boiled egg each, with Easter scenes delicately painted on them. We have not seen an egg in many months, for none can be bought in the store, and the Herbig chickens have not yet begun to lay. There also are some drawings of fairy tale episodes for us to color. I recognize my mother's artwork. However, I say nothing about it. I know that Giddy still believes in the Osterhase, and I want to believe with her. I am to share my basket with my little brother Reini, but he is sick and has no appetite and little interest. In the afternoon we, except for Reini, enjoy 2 kinds of Easter cakes baked by our mothers. The weather is beautiful, and to us the world looks full of promise. Tomorrow will be Easter Monday, the second traditional holiday to be celebrated before we return to school. But on Monday morning, everything changes, and our school stays closed for many weeks. The next chapter is called The Americans Are Coming.